told this woman that I loved her within 36 hours of knowing her, and I literally told her within 36 hours, I was like, look, this is gonna sound like a lot, and I'm sorry, because I know it's weird, but I know I'm supposed to marry you.
No.
That's weird as heck, but...
I am not surprised that he cheated on her. I am not surprised that this is not going well. When you think that you're manifesting things in your life and you think that you're a high vibrational person and you think that you're like in control of your energy and it's like this performance, like that's what it is. They are both in that like spiritual guru, new agey space. And look what just happened. Like when you think you're a high vibrational person, which doesn't exist, by the way, high vibrational people are not a real thing. And see how dangerous it is when you start to assign these words to yourself, because she thought she manifested this man and that he just appeared in front of her and that like it was a match. And she ignored every law of the universe. If someone, and just of common fucking sense, if a man or a woman or anybody tells you within 72 hours of meeting you that they are in love with you, you need to run the other way. The chances of that being an actual connection are about 0.0001%. Are there some people who have met, fallen in love, had a baby within a year and it actually worked? Yeah, there are people like that. But most likely that's not going to be you. And if that person is going to work for you, then they will stick around and you can take your time and have some patience. This woman is only 25 years old. Okay, I thought she was much older than that. So much of this stuff is such a performance. And look at what a dangerous situation she just got herself in. She ignored every red flag in the book, and I know what that's like. I'm not blaming her for life, for an abusive man, for him taking advantage of her, but she is someone who influences other women to respect themselves, to be smarter than that, to like, I'm just saying, it's so dangerous when you think you know better, when you think you understand energy, when you think that you've done all of this work on yourself. A man, a romantic connection, some money, something else can come in and literally blow your fucking world apart. Like, we are just humans. And this like spiritual fuckboy thing is so prevalent now, where these men have read all these self-help books, they know the right things to say. Like, they made that couple hour YouTube video and he's cheating on her the next fucking day. And he was just saying all the right things, but she clearly ignored major red flags. I think they got married within like 10 months or something. Like, that's just stupid. Like, I don't care if you are the most spiritually enlightened person on the planet. Marrying someone within 10 months is just, it's a stupid decision. And most of the time, it's going to end up like this. And humans are just humans. It doesn't matter how evolved you think you are, how feminine the man that you are with is, how sensitive he seems. Like, he is still a man and you are still just a woman, and you guys are still just humans. And when people think that they have somehow transcended the human mess, you can get yourself into a way deeper human mess. Oh my god. I have been in this exact situation. Well, not exact, but I've been in the beginning stages of this exact situation. When I was super deep into like Abraham Hicks and all of that, there were multiple guys that I met that we were just like instantly like, this is divine alignment. Like, it's like, no, baby, those are chemicals in your brain called norepinephrine and dopamine, and it literally makes you feel drunk. And when you're already drunk on your own spiritual narcissism and you think that the universe is on your side, like, nature is fucking rough, reality is fucking rough, you end up taking chances that you wouldn't normally take. You end up trusting people that you know deep down you shouldn't trust, because you think that they are also a high vibrational person. It's really, really scary. And like, there was one guy I dated in Boulder and we met in an Uber. Actually, I had seen him on dating apps before. And then I saw him, that he was going to be my Uber driver, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is divine alignment. And so I literally fucking said something about it. And it turns out, like, he was into Abraham Hicks. Like, and it was like, we started dating within like 6 hours of like meeting each other, right? And it was just like, yeah, we're like official. And it was just like, god, like, this just feels right, you know? And within like 8 weeks it had imploded in the weirdest fucking way. But like, there are laws to intimacy. There are like energetic thresholds that when you do them right and take your time and don't rush into things, it's actually really, really healthy for humans. And yeah, this idea that like you meet, like, it's just fucking love bombing. Like, you manifested a love bomber, and that's not hard to do. Okay? I am not surprised that the Wizard Liz got cheated on. This is what happens when you think you're a high vibrational person and you think that you've mastered energy and intuition. And like, she's only 25 years old. And I didn't know that. We need to be really careful who we are taking advice from. And no human is evolved enough to not get themselves in horrific human situations. And now she's 4 months pregnant. And she, like, that is actual hell to be 4 months pregnant with a man like that. And he's only 25 too, from what I'm seeing. He might even be younger than her. If a man tells you, if anybody tells you within 72 hours that they are in love with you, they are a love bomber. Like, she made such a dumb decision. Like, can we just put that out there? I'm not blaming her for an abusive man ruining her life, because it's ultimately his fault, obviously. But for a woman who's so evolved, who gives so evolved, like, nobody, that's the whole thing. Humans don't know what the fuck they are doing. None of us do. Nobody's enlightened. Nobody's like, usually the enlightened people are such spiritual narcissists that they walk themselves right into these kind of situations because they think that they are above the laws of humanity, and you're just not. If you marry a dude within 10 months and get pregnant with him, I don't care if he gives you a big ring, I don't care if he writes a book about how much he loves you, like, you do not know that person. And the chances of it actually working out are slim to none. Yes, some people meet and they instantly know they want to be together and they have a baby within a year and somehow it works, right? Like, there are random situations like that, but for 99.9% of us, it's not going to go fucking well. Okay, if you marry someone within 10 months, you are an idiot. I'm sorry, not sorry. This is why I don't like all of these manifestation coaches and stuff, because they often don't teach you how to actually have discernment. It's just like, oh, if you put out positive things in the world, only positive things will come back. And if you vibrate at a certain frequency, only people of that frequency can possibly be attracted to you. That's not true. Actually, you're probably going to run into even more dangerous people who know how to prey on people like you, who, or people who are complete spiritual narcissists. It seems like the guy that she got with is a complete narcissist just in general, but then he also got into all that self-help stuff and like, oh, I manifested Liz. Like, he literally said that. That is so scary. But when you think that the universe is only going to show you things that match your frequency, or that you couldn't possibly attract a horrible man, a horrible covert narcissist, like, that is where this stuff gets so dangerous. And in fact, you can get into even more dangerous human situations because you are just human. And it happened to me so many times when I was deep into this, like, self-help new age cult. And there are some really beautiful pieces to it, but there is, like, this is the perfect example of how dangerous it gets and how you ignore very basic red flags, like a man completely love bombing you. And like, if she was so in control of her own energy and frequency and was manifesting her own experience, like, this wouldn't happen. Right? Like, everybody's so shocked, but no, this is just humans. And that's why you have to learn how to protect yourself and learn about your own tendencies and your own trauma and be able to spot cycles of abuse. Because if this man told her within 72 hours that he was in love with her, that's not a cute love story. It's just not. That's actually really scary. And if she's so evolved but couldn't, and that's also what abuse is. Like, you don't know until you know, especially with a covert person. But that's why I talk about that this stuff with energy and frequency and all this stuff, it doesn't make you a more mature human that makes better decisions. In fact, it can do the opposite. And I feel so sorry for her, and my heart breaks for her, but there's so much going on in the spiritual community with Aubrey Marcus. What about Stephen Hilton? Somebody needs to take that man's phone. Oh my god. Anyways, I want to make content about all of that, but this video is for educational purposes only. The Wizard Liz ended up with an ugly, busted man. Because when you are practicing the manifestation, law of attraction stuff, it is a canon event to end up with someone who is not even on your level. I don't know what the science behind that is, but you will choose the creepiest, ugliest, weirdest men. It happens in religion too. It's like the Christian version of like sacrificing yourself, thinking it's holy, like picking up your cross and bearing it. So many religious women end up in these self-sacrificial relationships because they think it's holy, because they think God sent them this person. Like, it's this crazy phenomenon that happens. But when you get into the toxic side of this self-help, toxic positivity, like I create my reality stuff, you can end up with the most busted person. And let me tell you what that does to your faith and your self-esteem once you finally get out of that like delusional psychosis of a relationship and you realize like not only did you give yourself up for this person, but you gave yourself up for a foul person, a person who never even had a chance of being on your level. And then you start to feel like, why does the universe hate me? You don't trust yourself anymore. You're like, how did I attract such a horrible human who has no morals, who doesn't have an ounce of emotional intelligence? I did the exact same thing. I thought this man that I manifested back into my life was just the most amazing person, and I avoided the biggest red flags. I knew right away that I wasn't deeply attracted to him. I knew right away that like something felt off, but I forced it because I wanted him to be my manifestation so bad. Like, you can live in complete delusion. You end up trusting yourself in ways that you shouldn't. You think that you have more power in the world than you do. Like, this whole idea that you control reality is so unbelievably stupid and dangerous. And we know from actual quantum science that that is not how the universe works. And if you think that you are in control of this non-existent like frequency or vibration and that somehow that will attune you to the right people, like, you are setting yourself up to end up with a horrible human. You will look at someone who is an abusive, toxic mess and see heaven. I have done it a million times. I have watched other people do it a million times. And you end up trusting that the universe would never hurt you in that way. And then it ends up snapping your trust in life, in yourself, in reality, in what you know, in energy, in all this stuff, when that's not how frequency and energy work to begin with. So it's a fucking setup from the start, is what I'm trying to say. And you end up making decisions that you would never make because you are literally in a cult mindset. And that what you're feeling isn't some big energetic presence telling you that this is your man. What you're feeling is dopamine and norepinephrine and oxytocin. And if somebody even like remotely attractive says the right things to you, you will assume that this is your manifestation and that you need to be with this person. you can turn someone so awful into Prince Charming without even realizing it. And yeah. When Landon told Liz that he was in love with her after knowing her for 2 or 3 days and told her that he was going to marry her and was already mirroring so much of what she said, she should have turned around and ran away. Or at least said, hey, we really need to slow this down. I don't know you. You don't know me. Like, if a man tells me within 72 hours that he loves me, that's scary. That's actually a super big turnoff. I'm 37 years old, so I have been through a lot, and it's easy to say this stuff, and it's hard to do. And if the person is actually attractive, goodbye. Like, you don't have a prayer. Okay, so I'm not blaming Liz. Like, this is just how life is, but like, energy and frequency and stuff doesn't work like that. So we need to really protect ourselves. Okay, I have so much I want to say on this subject, but I gotta run. But yeah, this manifestation stuff will have you dating 60-year-old yoga teachers who've never had a relationship in their life and only date 20-year-old women and thinking that, like, he's just been waiting for you. When, if you want to work with the universe, like, you gotta look at what the universe is showing you. Okay, we gotta learn to spot the signs because the universe does give you signs. And when you ignore them, you end up in shit like this. Okay, I have so much to say about this. This video is for educational purposes only.